Hello everybody, there are a few interesting events that happened over the last few weeks in the corporate world. The first one is about Doubtnut, a platform which is a startup helping folks solve their doubts with respect to math, science or any kind of subjects, has been acquired for $15 million. And the interesting part was 2 years back, Doubtnut was offered $150 million by Byjus, and somehow the deal did not go through. There was a 90% reduction in the valuation of this particular startup. If you are in the corporate world, this information, when you connect the dots with a few other events right now, will make a lot of sense to you. And in this video, we are talking about number one, what are a few things that are happening in the corporate world? Number two, why are these events unfolding? And number three, what can you do to actually get out of this situations? So let's start with what is happening right now. As we speak, Byjus is actually moving from a bad situation to the worst situation. It is becoming even difficult to pay the employees. Last week, Ken, one of the news publishing startups, released an article about the placement difficulties in the ISB campus, and they literally mention it as a bloodbath. And a few weeks back, there was another article stating how summer internships were not completed at IIM Bangalore. These are some of the most prominent educational institutes in our country, and if students graduating from these institutes are facing difficulties, forget about the rest of the market. And the second thing, it's not just about the educational institutes. There are other companies like Doubtnut. Well, Doubtnut at least had an exit. Well, there was a 90% reduction, but companies like Zest Money did not even go through any kind of acquisition. Last year, it was in conversations with PhonePe for acquisition, but it did not go through, and a few weeks back it was shut down. All its employees were asked to leave without any kind of notice, without any kind of pay. Now, this is not specific to just India. Even the American markets and the international markets are behaving exactly the same way. Spotify, which you and I use as a premium music service, has laid off 1,500 employees starting this month. Etsy, another marketplace, has laid off 200 plus employees. Now, what is happening in the market is pretty clear. Folks who are in the jobs are finding it difficult to continue, and folks who are looking out for a job from an educational institute are also finding the situation to be super tricky. And why? Why is this happening? Why are we at this critical juncture? The first reason, it's not about you and me, but a lot has to do with how politics is shaping the world right now. If you think about it, in 2024, both the India and US, two major economies in the world, are going into elections, and the alternate governments could be coming into the picture. For example, in the US, Trump could take over, and in India, well, Congress can take over. If these things happen, then the policy continuity will get abruptly disrupted. And also, companies don't know how their fate would turn out to be, because we all know that Trump is not too specific with respect to tariffs, import taxes, export taxes, and all these kind of stuff. So there would be some friction between US and India, US and China, and this friction is only going to increase. So the companies are taking a back seat and just observing, and they're not recruiting enthusiastically anywhere in the world. And to add on to that, December is their favorite month to conduct any kind of layoffs, because you don't need to pay the annual bonus towards the end of the year. So a lot of companies, without knowing how the next year is going to transpire, whether recession is going to come or not, even though any data does not suggest the same, they are just going with the vibe and they are cutting down their employees. On the other hand, startups, investors are not looking for promise anymore. They are looking for solid evidence, and these things of course change the market sentiment. People who are paid millions of dollars, or people who are paid high salaries in the startups, not an option anymore. The other thing that is also happening is the technology adoption, the AI coming into picture. A lot of digital transformation projects that used to come to the Indian IT service providers like TCS, Wipro, Infosys, these projects are being put on hold. Why? Because if it's an implementation project, they are looking for AI to run that project and reduce the cost drastically. We all saw how TCS, Infosys, Wipro struggled in the last quarterly results. Their growth rate literally came down to 50% of what it was in 2022. In Jan 2024, when they are going to release these results, I personally believe, based on all the analysis that I have conducted, the results would be even worse. And this is not going to stop. So what can you and I do right now? The first and the most important thing, if you have more than 5 years, 10 years plus experience in the corporate world, please don't stick to your own field. Please don't believe that, hey, I am a project manager, I have 10 plus years experience, 20 plus years experience, and I don't want to now learn prompt engineering. Please don't have that attitude. Your experience and your education should not become a burden for you. Please go learn prompt engineering, because either you are working in complementary with AI or you are being replaced by AI. That's the reality. So please do learn either the core AI skill or at least prompt engineering. The second way that you can actually survive this market is by having a secondary income source. There is again no question about that. You need to give yourself that time. I made a video where I discussed about 7 potential side hustles. Please go through which option suits you. And in the comments for the same video, there are a few more options that different people have listed down. See what works for you and just get started. It might be only 1% or 10% of your current income, but that will give you that financial cushion in the long run. You might say, hey Pavan, but I don't have any time right now. My office is asking me to work. My manager is asking me to work for 12 hours, 14 hours every day. Well, I will say that, hey, yes, I understand the problem, but we need to look out for solutions. If you need to spend more time on the weekends, do that. If you need to spend more time, let's say evening hours, we have to do that. There is no question. Especially for the folks who are into their late 30s or early 40s, this is going to be a very tricky period. Please get ready. And don't blame anybody 5 years down the lane if you are not getting ready right now. This message, once again, is a reminder for what you should be doing. This is not about spreading a negative message. I wholeheartedly want each one of you to get ready so that we all build our careers in a successful way and also have a peaceful life going forward. Thank you so much. Please do share it with your friends, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one. Bye bye.